Welcome to Haunt Topic Radio, the podcast for haunters by haunters. These are our scary visions.
So, Daryl, we just got done talking to Chip Wells from Total Terror Haunted House. I mean,
Got a
it's,
lot of experience. This is going to be their 13th year coming up this October 2025. That's a handful of experience.
yeah, and I like what he does. I mean, he started as a homeowner, so he uses like a lot of his stuff is paper mache.
It's
So,
paper mache taken to another level. You guys are going to learn some secrets on how to do some really kicking paper mache stuff that doesn't look like paper mache.
like that big skull he was making.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
just like the witch character, the way they made her face and stuff is pretty unique too.
And then he was talking about stuff that how he protects it in the elements because he's outdoors. So,
Yeah, yeah, that's some tips that hopefully other people can use as well.
yeah, and I really like how he started as a homeowner and he grew, he grew slowly, over time and let his business get to the point where it is now.
Yeah, and it's when you grow, the location that he's at now, uh, maybe not everybody has a chance, but it might not be something you want to start off with. It's best to get a little experience and build that up so that you can prove to the people that in the end, you'll be able to make a little bit of money for them and for yourself. Because after all, if it's just debt every year, you're going to run into a problem in a while.
Yeah, and if you guys missed this, it will be pinned to the top of our Facebook group, Hunter's Toolbox on Facebook. And if you're on our email list, you will get a video link to watch this afterwards. So make sure you sign up to be a member at hunterstoolbox.com. So Daryl, are you surviving the heat up there? Is it getting
Yeah,
hot?
it's been hot, but it's been rainy and humidity is a little high. I'm not used to this, but there's a lot of places that the weather is a lot worse. Fortunately, we're surviving. The death and decay of the haunt world is coming up upon us. And the chilliness of being in northern Alberta is sometimes it gets a little chilly around Christmas. So I'm not going to complain about the weather. There's people out there that are, in the 40 degrees Celsius, 110 degrees um, Fahrenheit. Yeah, and
Like me,
I'm
man. It's hot here.
I'm not going to complain. I am in no place to complain. Other
Yeah,
than the fact that, we're in the middle of doing our audition season and we just hope that we'll be able to get enough actors coming up. So there's a tip in there for all those people that are looking for actors. Might be a little late to implement it this season, but we've got something for you. So stick around till the end of the show today.
that's right. A lot of good tips in there. All right, Daryl. Well, let's roll into it. Our
Let's
interview
roll.
with Chip Wells. And kind of what led you to this point in your haunt career.
Yeah, sure. I was as a kid, I was like one of those Halloween fanatics. I loved Halloween and monsters and everything, and started making masks when I was the teenager and everything, and just all into that. And I think when I went to college, we had we would do this thing for the townspeople that lived there. We would make a haunted house on our floor, and I don't know whose idea it was, but we started doing that, and I was like, "Holy cow, this is fun!" And it just kind of that kind of led me down that path. And then when my wife and I bought a house, we became yard haunters, man. It's we're making tombstones, and that was that that great period of time when there was all that stuff on the internet. All the how-to stuff, the videos, and people would upload their projects and everything. So that was really great. And we just kept doing that. And probably, I don't know, from 2003 to about 2011, we got more and more into it. It took up more of our time. And somebody was like, "You guys should open up a haunted house." So we were like, we kind of joke, stupidly, we listened to that and we did. So, and so now it's like, this is our 13th year total of running Total Terror. And, now it's like Halloween all year long now. So we're always working on it. It's always something to do, but we love it. Whole family's into it. I've got grown kids. They still help out with it. And so it's like a big family project. And yeah, we love it, man. So
where is Total Terror located?
we are about 40 minutes west of Richmond, Virginia. So we're out in kind of a sort of rural area at the Powhatan Fairgrounds. And this will be our 5th year there. We have jumped around to a couple of places over the years, and this is the longest we've been somewhere. So this is kind of the year last couple of years we've kind of built up a little bit. We had a 6,000 square indoor outdoor haunt, and this year we've expanded, big corn maze, big midway, and so we're kind of bumping up the whole game this year and taking over more of the fairgrounds. They've given us more space to have permanently, which is really cool. So we're kind of going at it, and we have worked. The haunt closed last year, and we just got at it. So we've been busy, man.
What have you been working on off season?
So we tore down the entire main haunt that we'd started and just redid the entire maze of the outdoor area. We got another building, redid that, tore down the inside of one building and redid that one. So I mean, if you want to get into the haunt game, it's you got to love construction and destruction. That's the fun part, just tearing stuff down. Great fun. Then you got to put it back up. But it's been a whirlwind because we opened up in May for like a weekend for the Powhatan Fair, and we had to have it all done by then. So I dug a lot of holes, man. So put a lot of posts in the ground. It's great. So
How did you get linked up with the fairground?
I don't know, man. We I just kind of, I think I called him. We had looked at that place before, and we had worked at a place up the road, really cool spot, plantation, and it didn't work out. I think it was more than what they wanted. So we got in contact with the fairgrounds. It was already an event space. That's what I was looking for, people that had experience as an event space, that had infrastructure, had parking, had lighting, had power, had all this stuff figured out for, bigger stuff. And that fit the bill. So, and they were super receptive to it because the owners love Halloween. They had run like a little haunted house there already, like on Halloween weekend. So they were kind of into it. And they were like, sure, man, you can have all these buildings right here. And we'd love to have you here. So it's worked out really well. And we kind of are there all the time. They're used to us and, all our craziness. So it's been a good fit, man. Yeah. I think that's having a really good relationship with if you have to rent, keeping that a really good communication with your landlord there is pretty critical.
Do you think it helped because you'd already been established for several years, or do you think you'd have been able to do this right on your first year?
That's a really great question. You certainly starting out, you may not know exactly what to say to people to, give them some confidence about what you're doing, in that I'm going to come in and this is going to be a solid event. It's going to be equality. It's going to be something that makes us all money. That's what they care about. And, the reputation is kind of upheld of the place. It's not going to be a bad show. So we were able to come in and say, hey, we've done X, X, and X here at this location, and we can come in here and, because if you can't say, hey, I haven't done this, it's like, you're kind of, you can't, you don't have anything to fall back on and say, yeah, we really work our ass off on this, man. So,
well, it's also probably good for your own stress level of going, okay, it's just a new location. Sure, it's 5,000 square feet bigger than what we had before, but
yeah,
we've done this before. We've already
Yeah.
moved to a bigger location. We know we knock it down and set it up every year. So we've got the skills. I imagine that helped lead the team as well.
Absolutely. It's that kind of tearing things down a couple of times. Boy, that's a challenge. And I like any team that has to do that every year. Hats off to them. We don't have to do that now. We do like some outdoor aspects of the midway have to come down, but the haunt stays up like it is. And man, it's fantastic. You just keep adding to it, it keeps getting better. So really cool.
Do you
Okay.
change it up between the May performance and Halloween season at all?
Yeah, the May performance is like it's a blast, man. It's so laid back. All the haunt actors in the area will just whatever haunt they work at will come help us out with that. And it's like we'll have this huge cast and we'll do something different every year. Last year was clowns. The year before we did like camp, Crystal Lake theme, which was a blast. That went over really well. And just decorated the whole thing like with the boat, the boat area, the dock, and then we already have like the cabins and all, man. So that went over really well with people.
I think Scarlet badges are one of the smartest things I've seen in the industry in a really long time. Scarlet badges are basically either pins or embroidered patches, kind of like merit badges, as they are, somewhat named after, from Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts and Brownies, and where after you've accomplished something, you can wear the brag tag of the embroidered patch. Some haunts put them on jackets, some put them on t-shirts, some put them on, with the pins, I've seen them put them on lanyards. But the neat thing about them is they are very specific in what they are rewarding. And they're haunt-based images that reflect what's being rewarded. It's retention, it is bringing people back, and it's actually giving your haunters, your haunt performers, the ability to share that they are haunt performers. And, oh really, you're a scare actor. Where do you do that? And then they will insert the name of your haunt right there. So it's also marketing. I've always been a big fan of Scarlet badges. I think they're great. So check them out, scarletbadges.com. No, that is not a paid advertisement. That is just my recommendation. I think it's really cool.
ScottSwinson.com.
Tell us a little bit about your themes. What kind of themes do you have?
So we are the overreaching theme of the indoor outdoor haunt is called Exorcism, and it's about a paranormal team that has gone into at the request of like the town priest to help exorcise some buildings in town due to some strange activity. And the paranormal team's kind of clueless. As a customer, you're part of the team, and they go in there and they start to meet the team. They meet some of the people in the area, and then they start to meet some either ghosts or possessed people. And it's really going to be, we wanted to differentiate ourselves from, we've got two theme parks that are like within an hour drive of us, man. And so that, they're great. I mean, they're really good, but it's like, throughput. We're like, hey man, let's go old school on this, a lot more acting, a lot more little theatrical, not the whole thing, but it's like, there's definitely some areas where it's like something you go somewhere and you kind of, something plays out in front of you. You know what I mean? And it's not every scene, but it's definitely that old school approach. And, just to give people, something a little different, man. So that's called Exorcism. And then we have our corn maze, which is called Feldgeister, which is based on German folklore. Feldgeister is field spirits, and so you kind of go through, and there's all these. There's like these creatures called the Oat Man, or the Crow Mother. And if you look up their backstories, man, they're really creepy. Like this is the folklore, and the Oat Man like is just like tries to ensnare little kids, man, and eats them. And the Crow Mother, kind of the same thing, man. It's like not unlike Krampus or something, where it's I think it's just there to scare kids. I don't know.
Gee,
But
German scary things that scare children. Yeah, that's unusual.
I know, man. Right. What a surprise.
Is
But
that is that the character there?
that is one of our oldest actors. Not that he's old, but he's been with us the longest. Russ Pitts, aka Doctor Insane. So that is we got Russ in a photo there, just because we love Russ. So he does like a lot of our midway stuff. You know, gets out and talks with people. He's great. He's like 6'4", 6'5", big guy. He's a great line entertainer.
And he's also in the chat room on Facebook right now.
What's up, Russ?
You, I know you make a lot of paper mache stuff. Is that paper mache, or is this something you've bought, this mask, or is that?
That is pretty sure that's a mask by our buddy Danny Lancaster, Psychomorph Effects, if I'm not mistaken. And Danny comes and helps us. He's a Virginia guy. He's works a lot of haunts around the area, so he's also gotten into the mask making. So he's made a couple of masks for us. I'm pretty sure that's one of his. And super cool guy, real talented. But we do like for a lot of our characters, man, we use paper mache. That's something I don't know, man. We just started using it when we were yard haunting and got better and better at it, and we just stuck with it and didn't move to other latex or foam or anything. And started learning all this other stuff, man. And so now we make. I use like flexible adhesive and cast paper into molds for the masks. We make a lot of the props out of this method. It's called sticky paper or contact mache, and it's like, yeah, there's a lot of pictures right there, like that skull right there. That's paper mache clay, mostly for her hands and face right there. Some of the bigger props are made of cardboard with glue on both sides stuck together. Just took we'll take casts of things, man, and just cover them up with paper mache or something. And that'll last forever, man. It's rock hard. That's what I like about it. You get stuff that you could put that outside, give it a little weatherproof, and it's going to last a long time. Yeah, I like that little dude.
What do you coat it with to waterproof it?
For weatherproofing, the best thing you can use the best thing you can use was that system they used to have. I think it was called Never Wet, and I think maybe Dow made it. It was like the 2-part spray. I don't think they make it anymore. That was brilliant. That worked really well. But other than that, like marine varnish, you can find that at Lowe's or Home Depot, and that worked. 2 coats of that will protect your stuff.
What's it called again?
It's marine varnish. It's or you can use spar urethane, but that spar urethane will coat it with it gives it that kind of dingy yellow color. I don't like using it. So
yeah, I want to see that skull there. That's a pumpkin.
Yeah. So that's called
That's a big
contact
skull.
mache or Barth mache, after the family that developed that. And it's really that came from Mardi Gras floats, the giant floats they make, and that's the old style they used to make all that stuff out of. And you can sculpt anything that you can imagine out of that process. So, and it's just starts out real basic. So anything big like that, where you can use the actual paper and you take the paper and just start squishing it together, and you're sculpting, man. It's pretty cool, intuitive method.
What's your base? Is it chicken wire or wood or?
That's the beauty of it, man. That is the armature. Like there's nothing underneath that. It's
Okay.
the cardboard is the armature. So you don't have to put anything underneath it.
What kind of glue that you're using? What's the sticky stuff that makes it?
It's called it's a non-flammable contact adhesive. And Dow makes one, 3M makes one. It's called 30NF. What is the trade name of it? I forget. But it's 30NF, or Weldwood makes one that's non-flammable contact adhesive. And it's neoprene based. So the fumes aren't that bad. I don't know if you're familiar with smelling contact adhesive.
Airplane glue, just when I was a kid.
Yeah. That and airplane glue. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's it. That's the armature. That's the start of it. That's it, man. So
Okay.
yeah.
I see what you're doing there.
So our TikTok page has taken off. It's pretty new, and so I posted a video of it's a big Jason head. It's about 8 or 9 feet tall when he's holding a knife. It's like for a photo opportunity, and that is just going crazy. So a lot of people like that one, but that same method, same made out of cardboard.
So I'm going in reverse. I see. Okay, there's your witch, or I guess she's a witch,
I guess so. Yeah.
so is that chicken wire? No, that's
That's just
thicker
chicken
wire.
wire, just like electric fence wire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever's
PVC.
laying around. I got a bunch of goats, so that
Yeah. Anytime I can make something, I prefer. But if I don't have time, then I break down and spend money and buy it. But I do like the creative process because right now I'm back to home haunting, so I can kind of do more of this stuff because I don't have as much to worry about.
Yeah, it's a real catch-22. I'm having less and less time to make things. It's
It's understandable.
construction's not-
Victim of
Yeah.
your own success. And just so all of the viewers are clear, that electric fence wire is not hooked up to the electric fence, correct?
I hadn't really considered doing that. Now that you've said it, that's not a bad idea. So,
Well, it would keep people from brushing up against the walls.
we
Ah,
told
yeah.
you not to touch the props.
Yeah, don't touch your props.
But no, you never listen, do you?
Have you checked out HauntersToolbox.com yet? It's free to join and full of useful information to help you start and grow your own haunted attraction business. All the information on HauntersToolbox.com is created by the pros who do it. We have a library with ebooks and presentations on topics like creating an employee handbook, starting a business plan, or the best types of lights to use at your haunt, plus a lot more. You get instant access to the library plus free video masterclasses by the experts in the haunt industry. Classes like Alan Hops from Dark Hour Haunted House teaching scare acting, or Philip Hernandez from the Haunted Attraction Network teaching marketing and social media, or Leonard Pickle from Hauntpreneurs teaching haunt design and construction. I even got a few master classes in there as well. You don't have to do it alone. Let us help you. We also host monthly live masterclasses to steer you in the right direction so you don't get lost. Once you become a member, you also get instant updates on our next masterclass in your email so you don't miss the next one. And if you need more one-on-one help, there is an option for that as well. I would be honored to help you get your attraction started or help you grow your current one. I know what it takes. Let's talk. If you're interested, you want to start and grow your haunted attraction, go check out HauntersToolbox.com. Don't be scared.
So is that like a brown paper, craft paper and glue?
Yep.
Is that,
Yeah, that's just straight up like a paper mache process there, just to kind of get a little strength on there, to the back of the head. But the paper mache clay, if anybody's listening that uses this stuff or has tried it, I just take screen fiber insulation and it's ground up newspapers you can buy at Lowe's, and just mix it in with Monster Mud till it becomes a clay-like substance, and it becomes really just rock hard, man. It really sculpt with it. It's awesome.
yeah, just your person, the creepy person in the background. You can,
Yeah.
and you got a big old roll of packing bubbles.
Yep.
Starting to take shape now.
Yeah. She's a very shapely young lass.
So, do you do this mostly, or do you get is your team starting to get into it now and build some of these things with you?
No, not so much. I will have like a big get together and say, "Hey, team, let's make a bunch of clowns together." And I've got a couple that are kind of getting into it. One young lady, Emily's, helps me out a lot with making some of this stuff. I think she really likes it. But most of the time, it's me making all this, and I've got every like the core of the team is my family. So my oldest son, and younger son, they're in their 20s. The oldest one's like an artist. Jacob, my younger son, is Sam is a carpenter. So they kind of Jacob's really good on the computer. Sam's good, his hands building stuff. Man, that kind of works really well. But nobody's really taken off with like props and masks and things like that. So I'm still doing all, which is fine with me. I really enjoy that part of it. So
Stress relief building things sometimes
it
until
sure is.
it's the last week and you still have 3 props to build.
That could or could not be accurate. So
Been
that's
there,
pretty close
done
to
that.
Yeah.
Is that
That's
a
all right. Yep.
burlap mask that you made?
Yep.
Okay. That's pretty
Same
cool, too.
technique, just using burlap instead of paper then.
Yep. Exactly. Same thing. That's casting a mold.
How does your creative process? How do you get ideas from things in your environment? I know I like to play video games, like scary video games, and watch scary movies to get ideas. What do you
Yeah, golly, man, I watch a lot of horror lately. I like horror movies, obviously. I got a Roku, and so man, I'm like, holy cow, I'm making stuff, and I got a movie playing, and there's just all these old cool 70s and 80s horror movies people have forgotten. So many good ideas. There's I go to, I go to Pinterest a lot, and there's just a lot of cool stuff there. They kind of will spark something in your head, and you're like, oh man, that's really interesting. Just so I was looking for something different, just kind of jog those creative juices. Like Jacob he's super into literature. He likes anime a lot, kind of Japanese horror books and stuff. And those are kind of off the wall. So I'll sit and read those, man. Those will give you some ideas. Probably give you nightmares. A lot of them. They're really scary. And but he'll usually the last couple of years he's written the script for everything. He's super creative, man. It's like and then we'll kind of play off of that and come up with characters, and I'll write. Wendy and I will write dialogue for everything and how it's all going to work out. And then, comes the fun part of picking, okay, wow, we finally got our cast together, man. Now we got to put all these people in the right spot, which that's always a challenge. So
so speaking of that, how do you manage your actors? I know when I was doing it, it was kind of like we chose a spot, but seemed like throughout the season, I would try to figure out what they liked, and I might have moved people around, and they might have worked better in this spot than they did this spot. How do you manage yours?
It's it just depends, man. It's like some folks are gonna, they're gonna be there every night, and I'm like, I'm gonna put you here, man, where you're gonna be able to learn this role, and you're gonna do it over and over again, and you're just gonna get better and better and better at it. And we really look for people that have that energy and that spark. Sometimes if it's like a real acting role, but it's really funny, man. Some more introverted people will just surprise you every time, and you're like,
Sure.
God, man, I did not see that coming out of you. And it's fantastic to watch people grow. So I never discount anybody. It's like, okay, but if it's if somebody's really not working somewhere, I'll move them around. Let's try a different spot. If we can't work on this spot, let's find you something where you're going to shine, man. So it's always in flux. People are in and out. We can't get everybody every night, obviously. So if we could have people and just say, man, you're in the spot every night, and it just keeps getting better and better. When you don't have that, it's got to adjust every night. So, which is kind of a bummer. You could have come Friday night and it was totally different show from Saturday night sometimes.
How many actors and how many nights are you guys open?
This year we are open. We kind of dialed it back to 7 nights this year. So we're open Fridays and Saturdays in October, starting on the 10th, and then on Halloween. and we have doubled our cast, so we're kind of going for it this year, and it's like, well, something's got to even out here, man, because we know we'll get a certain amount of people to come, so it's got to be, hey, we're gonna cut back on the number of nights. We want more people coming, per night, so we can cover payroll, right? This is we run it as a business, not as a 501c. So anyway, that's our why we did it that way. But kind of usually we used to being open a lot more nights anyway. It kind of cuts our fun down and think, but whatever.
Well, in the end, we're here to entertain people, but we have to have a bit of a business plan. You might lose a bit of money in the first couple of years, but you build up that crowd. But by year 13, hopefully you kind of got it figured out and you can balance the amount of people coming and like I say, how do you become a millionaire being a haunter? Well, you start with 2 million, you know. But in the end, you have to be able to turn it into a business, follow that business plan. And we've had, other casts and talked to other people about building that business plan. So it's good to hear that, yeah, you're focused on business. We got more actors, but we're open a couple of less nights because you got to meet payroll.
Yeah. It's it's so much fun to do. We love it. It's like, you could be you do yard haunting and you do it one night, couple of nights. So we get to do it a bunch of nights. That's what we love about it. But yeah, it's there's all that side of it. Man, I'm like an artist. Like my bride Wendy is like the business minded one. So she's awesome. So she kind of keeps all that straight, and we make a pretty good team.
That's the other thing, is having a team behind you that's all kind of focused on the same thing, or the same general goal. You're focused on the creativity, she's focused on the business side, but you kind of need to work in unison to do that. So it's good to have somebody that you're close with that can do that for you.
Yeah.
And it says you're open 8 to 11. When do your actors usually start getting there? I see you use a lot of masks, so they may not have to get there early to do makeup. I know ours had to be there.
Yeah, we're open 7:30, 10:30 this year. We do have, that's from our Carnival of Terror, like our May event, which was like a bunch of clowns. So this year we're having a lot more makeup that needs to be done. So that they got to get there, by 6. Like if they want to, some of the ones that have a lot of gore that are getting made up, like some people that are kind of possessed people, they're going to need a lot of work, so they'll get there early by 6. We got food and snacks for everybody, and shows up. That's a lot of fun. Everybody's getting ready, man. It's a lot of energy. It's a good time.
This podcast episode sponsored by Scarlet Badges.
We always were looking for ideas to get those actors to take it to the next level. I really want to do something that they can use more than just a meal, or they can use more than just a that a boy, that a girl. They love this stuff, but it's not really promoting a haunter. And then I sit down, Scarlet Badges comes out. That's when I realized this is amazing, because not only is it giving them an attaboy, but it's also promoting them all year round. And to promote somebody, to give somebody accolades all year round and have them be able to wear it on their shoulder with pride means a lot. This right here says this is who nailed it on this day in this year for the rest of their life, for the rest of their haunting life. And that's what I really love about this product, is you're able to give haunting to somebody an attaboy 365 days a year. And that's, so hats off to you guys. I think this is a great product, and I wish you the best of luck because it's awesome.
Get your Scarlet Badges at scarebadges.com.
How many makeup artists and costume people do you have?
Usually we have one main costume person, and then we have like 2 or 3 makeup artists that they're pretty good, so they can get a lot done pretty fast. So
You stop selling tickets at 10:30?
correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
I know sometimes we'd have some stragglers in there. I'm like, okay, well, it's going to take, if you come in at 10, say, because we close at 11, they come and show up at 11:10. So my actors are already, they're already expecting so much, and they say we've already had the last group in, and we already have actors that are breaking. They've already out of their costume because that was the last group. So I'm like, I can't I can't give you a good show because my
Right.
show's are the way down. So I tell you, so then I'll say, tell you what, come back tomorrow night. I'll give you 50% off for a free
That's cool.
ticket.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
That way they're there. They're not disappointed because they're still getting something. Oh, okay, we'll come back. And so
Well,
But
that's a
if
really good
customers could learn to not show up at the last
I
flipping
know.
minute,
idea.
And they
Uh,
do that. Say, hey, we learned a little trick. Just go to the Dead Factory and go about 11:10 and get some free tickets. So, but
yeah,
you hope that's
I've
not the
had people.
case,
Yeah,
but that's just like no refunds. Like we say no refunds, but they go to the ticket booth and they bitch enough, and we usually my business partner's like, all right, there's $50, just
yeah.
whatever,
Sleep, please
but
leave. Yeah, yeah.
um, but it is a deterrent when you say no refunds because oh man, no, we chickened out, no refunds. But
I feel really bad in like people bring their young kids and when he's up there taking tickets and she's like, that kid is too small, man. Please don't. They're not going to make it 10 feet. And
what we usually do if
she's
like
like,
if a family if a child chickens out, mom and dad have to leave, we usually give them 2 free tickets to come back the next day
no,
or
that's great. Yeah.
whatever. So no, we're not giving a refund, but we are giving them extra tickets.
we just tally our
So
tickets or our chicken outs, and we have a thing at the, where the ticket booth is, saying that we've had 264 chicken outs so far this season. And when you walk out and you change the numbers in front of the people standing in line, they get nervous.
Daryl, remind us again your attendance numbers for the year and how many nights you're open on the average, because you're a big haunt.
I don't know the exact number a night, but let's say we're open 26 to 30 nights, depending on how things go. Usually the last weekend of September till the first weekend in November. Um, and during the busiest part of the season, we're putting groups of 4 to 6 through every 30 to 45 seconds in 3 haunts.
Yeah, it's on my
So
bucket list.
yeah, unfortunately, 200 to 300 chicken outs. I want to get much more than that, but I got that idea. We were in Niagara Falls at one of the blackout haunts, and it's been going for years. And you've seen pictures of it on you know the pictures if you've seen them on the internet of their scare spot. But they had like 64,000 chicken outs. Um, you have no idea how long that's for, and that was for multiple years, but people chicken out and it makes other people anxious. And anything you can do to drive up that scare factor, it's worth it.
Like the next haunt I design, the chicken out. I'm gonna have a chicken out tunnel, and it's gonna come right out by the front of the queue line. So when you're walking people out, there they are. It's like, oh, there comes
It's a
another
big like
chicken.
alarm. Yeah, big chicken
Yeah.
sound.
Yeah, well, we've also got buttons at our haunt that we give away to the customers that chicken out, pee themselves, or poo themselves. So
One year we did have a cage out
Nice.
front, and like if someone chickened out of their group, made them sit in the cage, and we had chicken out sign on it.
Brian,
So
you're cruel.
I know it's the Dead Factory, man. It was a place to be. What do you? How do you set your haunt apart from other? I know you probably. I don't know if you have any competition around the area, but how do you set your haunt apart? Whether it's in your marketing or your branding.
Yeah, it's yeah, we've got Richmond, Virginia, has not typically been like a hotbed of haunted houses. And but now I think it's starting to grow now. So there's, we've got some really good haunts in Richmond, and we've got one, that's kind of close to us, man. So, there's a little competitiveness there. And we really strive to say, hey, man, we are trying to make something from everything from the ground up from this team. It's it's as authentic as you can get, man. It's not corporate. You know, we are people that just love this, love what we do. We want to scare you. We want to give you something different. You know, we want to give you some theatrics. We want to give, you know, you're going to see props and masks and things here you're not going to see anywhere else. And, you know, that's to us, that's a matter of pride and like a big deal that we try to push in our advertising. You know, just that you know, we're a bit different, man. And really in terms we're kind of like a big home haunt that just kept getting bigger. That really, that's what we are. And that's how we like running it. You know what I mean? It's like, would it be cool to get really big? Yeah. I mean, it'd be great, you know, if you go, oh, wow, I'm doing this full time, man, but it would just change everything. You know what I mean? It's like, it would be, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing now. So it is, again, we're talking about, it's a catch-22, man. So
you're right now basically at your optimal size, something you can still balance, something that you can still have all of the actors. It's not too big, not too small, sort of the Goldilocks thing.
yeah, it really, it still feels like a big family, man. Like, you know, we all get together all the time, you know, during the year. It's fantastic. It's really nice. And you know, I know everybody, you know, on the team that comes, and you know, try to get to know everybody if they're new. And it's just a fantastic dynamic anyway. So I think we're pushing to grow this year. So I feel like things are probably gonna change. We're putting a lot more into advertising. We've been trying to just go all the time on social media, like, you know, a little bit more than we have in the past. And it's I think it's going to pay off. So hopefully we don't lose some of that.
Now, before you were at the fairground, what did you kind of do for advertising, and how has that evolved now that you are at the fairground?
Well, man, I have, you know, we're kind of DIY about everything. So I've had to learn about social media. You know, man, I'm not 20 something. So it's not, I think it's, if you're a little older, it's not quite so intuitive. But I've worked really hard to learn some of this stuff. And now it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. This is how you do it. You know, this is what you got to post, and here's how you grab people's attention, and here's how you do ads, and here's how you market that ads to the audience that you want, and all this stuff, man. When we were doing it 5 years ago, I didn't know any of that stuff, and it was just kind of like, okay, I'm going to make an ad, and hope, you know, we're going to throw it out into space and see what happens. Which at that time was like COVID time. Actually, we did pretty good, when it was 2020 for us. So, but you know, you just learn that stuff over time. You know, how to make a better website, all this stuff, man. So
if you can't, always tell people, if you don't know how to do it, try to find somebody in the crew that may have some skills to do it. Like you said,
yeah.
TikTok is kind of starting to come off for you, really good. So
yeah.
That's
so now that you're going into your 13th year, the lucky 13th or unlucky, lucky 13, in our business anyways. What is what's some wisdom you can depart to someone between your first and second year? Austin is just going into his second year. What's some wisdom that you have now, being in it for 13 years, that you wish you would have known going into year 2 or 3?
You know, if you can get somebody to help you along with this, that you say, look, I've done X, you know, with this, right? If you could get some investors to get you from point A to point B a lot faster, probably, than we've done it, you know, would not be a bad thing. Or, you know, if you have some kind of way to access cash or something, to say, look, we're going to make a business plan. Here's what we're going to do for this haunt this year. Here's how we're going to advertise it. Here's, you know, the payroll we're going to do, who we're going to hire. Like you were going to the bank, even if you don't go to the bank, saying this is what we're going to do. And, you know, you've got that plan, and say, all right, if I've got some access, you know, 401k, I don't know anything, where you can say, look, I'm going to, you know, take this step, make a big step here this year, and just get this thing going. and you probably see a lot faster success that way. Probably a little more nerve-wracking in that you have gone into debt. And I'm not recommending that for anybody. Don't take financial advice from this guy. I'm just saying if you wanted to grow faster, that would be the way to do it. But man, there's so many people there's to talk to in this business, and so many nice people that are willing to help and talk to people as well. So, it's that, and that I've had a lot of conversations with different home owners, and there's ones that said, man, we just started slow and just kept building and building and building. And there's others that just took a big leap forward. But that takes money. So that's it. I don't know if that helps or not, but that's my advice.
Got time or money? That's
Yeah.
the trick.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
Do you know what causes haunted attractions to shut down before they even get started? The top 3 roadblocks are lack of funding, lack of leadership, lack of resources. As a member of the Haunters Toolbox, you get instant access to the tools you need to start and grow your own haunted attraction business. To get started, become a member at haunterstoolbox.com.
Now, I noticed on the website when we were looking at it earlier that you had some sponsors listed on one of the pages. How do you approach a sponsor, and what do they provide for you? Do they provide meals, advertising, money? What do they do?
We ask for either we have a couple of different tiers. Our basic one is, hey, you put out a bunch of flyers for us. People can pick them up at your store when they're checking out. Put a poster up. We'll float you some tickets. For you, your crew, however many. It's up front like that. It's not. It's just part of an advertising budget. Then we have road frontage, so we're right on the main highway through county. So people pass through there all the time. So we're like, well, we'll put up your poster, we'll put you on the website, and that's for, just a few $100s, man. That'll get you like our top tier. And then there's the middle tier. It's kind of, I forget. I think that's on the website, but that seems to work really well. Talking to people, hey, let's help each other out here. If they're really, some people kind of go above and beyond and come out and, like you say, give us meals, or we get building supplies, which is awesome. Anything like that, we're going to make sure you're out there in the number one spot and walking in the place, man. People can see your stuff, and you're up top of the website and all. And, one of our sponsors was like, man, I saw like, golly, he said his business doubled during, October. And I was like, that's awesome, man.
That's good, because it
working.
shows that it's working both ways, right?
Yep. So, but it is a challenge, man. When things get a little tighter, like recently, folks are holding on to a little bit more money, so it's a little harder to get sponsors. You got to be creative.
Yeah, and that's going back to your whole growing too fast. Yes, that can be a curse too, because if you don't have all your systems in place, it could break your haunt with having too many people. I'm kind of glad the Dead Factory grew. I owned it for 7 years. I'm kind of glad it grew the way it did. We started out at $13 a ticket, and when I stepped out, we were charging $25.
Nice.
The attendance probably maybe 4 or 5 times as much attendance over that period of time, and we grew slowly. It let us, get our crew developed, and we have a lot of veteran actors there. It allowed us to tweak our throughput, because we realized we can't do things with that many people that we used to be able to do. We had to get rid of like my brother's tearing out the dark maze this year. That was a holdup, because that bunch of people up in the dark maze, and we had the attraction was around 9,000 square feet. So, they could have been locked in there for 2 or 3 minutes, which back to the throughput. We had like trap doors and secret doors that we had actors that would have a little skit. They may take 30 seconds with the group. We had to lock that out because that was taking too much time. So there are things you can do as a smaller haunt that you can't do as a larger haunt. So
That's right.
it's a
Yeah.
nice transition period. Growing small, it kind of allows you to get there. Because if you started off year one and you have 30,000 people show up, you're gonna be like, what? I mean, yeah, it'd be great, right? But you wouldn't be ready. So
What
that's
one of the guys that worked for us, great guy, Caleb, went out to college in North Carolina, and they were in Greensboro area up on. He said they went from like one TikTok, they got all this attention. They went from like 2,000 people a season to 10,000, and he was like, we didn't even know which way to turn. They were just so overwhelmed, man. And it's definitely sounds like a great problem, but you're in the thick of it. I mean, that could be like pretty wild. So
yeah, and it
uh,
could because people leave bad reviews on your, on the Facebook and the Google. So I had to wait, and I never got in, or these actors didn't know what they were doing. So it's to me, it's always best to grow slow, unless
right.
you're
Can
unless you're
definitely be
coming
a
from
problem. Yeah.
somewhere. Yeah, unless you're coming from somewhere that you've been established and you know what you're doing, and then you move into something else. But if you're fresh, I always recommend growing slow. Like
Yeah, I guess
I'm
if
still
you've been in
doing.
the event space before, if it's something you've done, it's not even a haunt, but you're kind of used to that. You know, probably that's good advice, I would say. Just don't be in a big hurry because enjoy the ride, man.
But think about the what if, we used to have longer scenes in some of the areas of the haunt, and sometimes you need to shorten them. So think of an alternate plan if you suddenly get those 10,000 people. A good problem to have, but a bad problem, like, Brian says, you're still going to start getting bad reviews because people are getting stuck in there. Just think about a plan B or an emergency situation where you get that many people that you need to actually do something about, so that you don't have to panic when it happens. And hopefully it does happen so that you're making payroll.
That would be nice. Yeah, that's something you can stress to your actors. The ones that have done it for a while would get it. You say, look, if we get super busy, we're not going to be sending groups every couple of minutes, whatever. That's going to be like every, you would say, what you're saying, like 30 seconds, 45 seconds. You can't say your entire spiel, man. You're going to have to abbreviate that and let people keep moving. So
Yeah,
we can.
you need to do sometimes the abbreviation, and sometimes you'll have groups that want to join together and you want to split them apart, and you might not have a word for word script, but you need to get the gist of that scare and that story to make it believable, but you need to do it fast.
I always told myself I was going to make index cards of scare actor lines in each room, so they had like a laminated index card in the room that had lines on it. Maybe who the characters was, maybe what the theme of the room was. That way they could kind of base their character off that theme of the room. They'd have some things to say. Because sometimes I would have new actors that would come in last minute with a friend or something. I'm like, okay, well,
Mhm.
just go over there with them. They don't know what they're doing. They just throw on a robe and a mask, and they don't have it. Okay, so this is what you're supposed to be doing? I try to walk them through like a little scenario. This is who you are. This is the room before you. This is the room after you. This is what I need. You can be as creative as you want with that. So I don't really direct what they want to say, and sometimes they come up with the best stuff.
Sometimes you get feedback from the customers. The customers will say something and you come up with a line, and wow, that actually worked really well. And now I'm going to start using that. So
Yeah, absolutely.
When
Like,
go ahead.
I was going to say, we came up with a training program, and for if like somebody just doesn't get it, but wants really to scare people, it's like, here are the things that you can say, and here's a thing or two that you can do in this scene, and it's all really spelled out. But I'm like, man, I love being surprised when an actor does something. So I'm totally like, if I'm more like that, like saying, okay, here's your spot and here's kind of some stuff and go at it, man, and do your thing, and that it surprised me. I don't mind that, but we also have kind of said, well, not everybody kind of gets that. Anyway,
Some people need that direction. They need,
yeah,
and some
And
don't. Some,
but even giving them some general background of their characters in that room or what that room is can often really help them come out of their shell a little bit. And they might be nervous at first, especially some of those new people. But man, we have found some gems that just like are absolutely incredible.
yeah.
So we've got a question from Austin. What kind of lights do you use in the corn maze, and how do you power them?
So the man, last year we did the corn maze and we were out of time, and I bought I don't know how many of these little kid finger lights to light the path, and they actually worked really well. And just hang them everywhere. This year it's going to be I've got like it's 24 volt, 12 volt lights like you would use like Ned's LEDs, and you can actually buy like a landscaping transformer that'll light like a large area with these things. So that's pretty easy. It's not much at all to it. Or we a few spots I've got some 110 volt lights, floodlights to light up something big or something. But I've got a generator out there with a backup, and that's pretty much it. Nothing too fancy. It's got somebody would make a decent 12 volt strobe light would be cool, but can't seem to find that anywhere.
There
Maybe
you
guys
go.
know.
There's some invention ideas. Now
listen
for
to
things
that.
like the your
Yeah,
generator and stuff, is that something you own, something you rent, something the fairground has?
I don't know how many generators I have at my house, so it's probably 6 or 7. We've just collected them over the years. I've got 3 really good ones that I keep in great repair. So those are ours. We keep do the upkeep on them. They're big, they're loud. If you can afford to rent a really sweet one from the rental place that runs on diesel and is quiet, much better. But it's a cost every night. But or get the Honda ones, they run like super quiet, man. The little ones, those are awesome. But we just keep them away from everything.
we
We had to
built
get inspection.
we built partial boxes around ours
Yeah.
with foam inside of them. We tried it. We keep one side open. The side away from the audience was pointed away. The open side, that way it still had air to breathe. Then we blocked them with the other 4 sides were blocked, which seemed to cut down a lot the sound. But yeah, you're
Like
right. If you can go back to the small, quieter generator, you'd be better off.
is that like a 2-inch foam or something from you get
Yeah,
for
I think
insulation? Yeah.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
we might have used some egg crate foam, like a mattress foam, like the old egg crate, and just kind of that's what we had. So that's how we started in the woods too. So we were. I gotta say, I love the spookiness of outdoors, but being inside, it's a lot better in Missouri because you're not,
I was pretty surly in July this year, man. It was blazing hot, just outside digging holes, and I'm like, anyway, it was hot this year, man. So
it's
yeah,
great.
got to get done.
So do you? So I guess I'm assuming you're growing the corn yourself, and
Yeah, we grew it last year, and this year we had a little more help from a farmer who kind of knew what he was doing more than I did. Like I jumped into it, and we had pretty good corn maze last year. It's a lot better this year. So this year you can't even hardly walk through it. It's so thick, and it's about 8 foot tall now. So it looks awesome. I'm really happy with it. So it's more, there's less winding around like you're in a maze. It's like walk, scene, walk, scene, walk, scene, walk, scene, little break through the woods, another scene. So it's more, it's less of a big, spooky corn maze. Now it's like a haunt. So it looks pretty cool. So it's that our whole theme is cool with that. You got like the goat man running around, and the corn lady, the crow lady, and all these, spectral spirits you're running into. So yeah.
The Wendy Wells recommends going to your local economic development group. There might be grants or sponsorships you could apply for. I know our Chamber of Commerce has something with tourist advertising money that you can apply for too. I always forget last minute and I always missed out on the application. But it's early, it's way early in the year for, I think they have quarters maybe so just check with your Chamber of Commerce, your local development groups, and there might be money sitting there for you.
Some of it might
Um,
be calendar year too, so just find out from them as soon as you can. And if you miss this year's deadline, make sure you put it on your calendar a couple of weeks before next year's deadline so that you can get that paperwork filled out and hopefully you know get a little bit of money from them to help run your hunt.
and Danny Lancaster, I've worked under Chip several times at his haunts. He puts so much time into his haunts. He also has one of the happiest haunt crews I've ever had the privilege to scare with. So,
Thanks, man.
so how do you keep everybody happy?
You owe Danny $10 now.
uh,
So
how do we keep everybody happy? Look, it's you're working with creative people, man, and they came there for an outlet, and it's like you've got to give people that outlet. Like it can't be so rigid. You know what I mean? Like it's got to, be this way. You're gonna do this and that, and like it's like a I don't want to be a drill sergeant, man, and I don't think creative people respond to that. So when people come there, man, it's like, look, we're all here to have a good time, man. We're not doing this to get rich. We're doing this because we love it. So so my family operates. You're part of the family now. So we're all one big crazy family in October, and it's awesome. And that's the best part. So we get this big wild social outlet, and we'll have a lot of fun. So
they look happy in the photo, so doing something right.
that guy looks pretty happy. He's
That guy
down,
extremely
so.
happy.
Those choppers.
So what do you on like? Do you ever have a hard time finding people to act, or is your crew, the size you kind of like it, and people just keep coming back because you have a good retention?
Yeah, people keep coming back. We love getting young people. When they're got to be 16 to work there, and sometimes they'll turn 16, and we'll give them for a few years before they kind of go off to college or get a real job or get married or whatever. And then we have some folks that are been with us a long time and are older, and I can't explain why. When we have a need for like a role or something, just the right people just seem to appear. And we put stuff out on social media, and then we just tell everybody, hey, if you know anybody, just reach out to them. And folks just seem to just kind of say, hey, all of a sudden out of the blue, like, hey, I've been seeing this for a couple of years. I want to do this really bad. It's, come on, man. So it's it just seems to work. I think we filled all our spots for this year. We've still got people wanting to act, so we're not going to turn anybody away, I don't think. So it's good to have some extras. But the crew is getting pretty big. It's gonna be wild, man. So this makes it more fun.
Was it like that on your first year? Did people just come and like you could just get anybody that would act? Because I've been having trouble getting scare actors. I've been putting flight posts out on Facebook and everything and trying to get more people to come, but I hadn't seemed to get a lot of interest. I don't know if it's just because people don't know about us yet, but I'm going to be going to the fair here soon, and I didn't know if there was any way to get more people interested in coming to the farm to act for all our attractions.
The first year, it might be location. We were close to a military base, and kind of in the middle of a couple of counties and small towns, and we reached out to all the theater departments of every school that were within an hour drive. That really helped. We were taking volunteers at the time. We don't do that anymore. But I was just like, hey man, your group come work as a group for us that night, and we'll make a donation. We don't do that anymore, IRS. Anyway, but it was that worked really well. It was like, but every night was different, man. We'd have a different group of people show up. Does that make sense? Like it was a group effort, and then we got a bunch of soldiers that were in their AIT to volunteer. And some nights we would have like, golly, man, we'd have 60, 70 actors, man. And the night before we had 30. It was crazy doing it like that. But just reaching out to, if you can do that and with your haunt and say, well, I can get groups that want to come volunteer. It's not a bad way to start out. Contact the theater group, the choral group, the sports groups, and man, come do something fun. You maybe make a few bucks for your group, not as individuals, and at least that'll get your name out there, especially with these theater teachers or teachers at the school, man. They know everybody, and all these young kids, man. You want to come act.
Focusing
But,
on the group, though, that's a tip I don't think we've heard before, though, is having those groups come in and do something, and you do something for the group back for them instead of the individuals. Hadn't heard that before from any of our interviews.
Wow, really? Well, it worked super for us for a couple of years, and it was wild, man. It was like just all these young people, like tons of it, just a lot of energy, man. We loved it.
Russell confirms that the early years were crazy but fun.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Russ has been there since the start. That's wild.
Yeah, I grabbed some theater kids too. And usually they have a lot of improv work that they've done and acting work that they've done, so they can kind of had one. She was our main nurse that would set. We had a holding office for the first group, and she would sit there while for 2 minutes talking about Dr. Phobia and your worst fears, and so she had more of a role, which was good because no one else really had that experience. So she really helped set off the haunt the first few years because when she left, I was like, "Where's the head nurse at?" So it was hard. It was hard for me to replace her because she was so talented in that role. Um, and then we'd ask like if we had, say I think the first year we might have had 15 actors possibly. It was a small group, and that's how we started. And that was our core base. Luckily, a friend of mine, I had a haunt a few years before mine, and some of his crew, he had them come to my haunt. So I had veteran actors that are still there 10 years ago. They're still out there. So they were really solid people that helped grow it and helped train my other people because they were, really good because they'd been doing it for, another 10 years before that. So they already kind of knew what they were doing. But I also asked for recommendations from the 15 people that we had. Yeah, you have anybody that wants to, are you family members, friends that you want to bring out and try? They may be with some of the best people that you didn't know that you had, that they actually like. Oh, sure, I'll go try. Because that only takes that one spark for someone to scare someone.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they like it, they like it. If they don't, it's not going to work.
When they like
out.
it, they like it.
Yeah, they're not coming back the next weekend. You won't see it. But you have those people that like it. They're there at 5:30 just waiting to get in the door. You're like, okay, well, do you have any friends that you might like that might like this too? Oh yeah, me and Jeff and Rod, bring them out. Bring them out Saturday night. Here, this is our handbook. This is what we expect. Bring them out. We'll give them a quick interview. But yeah, those first years are hard. They are trying to get your team built up. That's why it's kind of best to start small, because if you start off like a 3,000, 4,000 square foot attraction, you only need 10 or 15 people. Granted, it might only be a 15-minute haunt. You're charging $10 for it, but your overhead is not that much either. So it gives you a little chance to, develop and grow. That's why home haunting, as we started out as and grew into something else that helped me with the set design. I had 8 scare actors that I was managing in my garage. I was putting out marketing materials, so I was learning how to make posters. I was learning how to make flyers. And, so it kind of helped me over 5 years of doing Omaha get established so I could start the Dead Factory. It was a challenge.
So, Chip, for your actors, do you have like an area lead or leads or breakers or managers or anything in certain areas or certain groups to kind of help you watch what's going on as your hunt grows bigger?
So this year, Wendy has been in charge of sales up front. I'm in charge of operations. I'm kind of handing off the reins to operations to one of my sons, Sam, this year. So he's going to be in charge of the hunt, and I'm going to go, I'm going to fix stuff when it breaks. So I'm kind of backing off of that. So so I'm the tech guy, and we have managers for each hunt, hunt managers. So that is, that's critical, man. Like you gotta be able to lean on people, right? And say, I can't be everywhere at once. And I've tried to do that in the past, and you just cannot do it. You've got to have a team of people that know what the heck's going on, or know this business, have been actors, have done these things, know how to fix things. It's really important. And when you can find those people, man, you just hang on to them for dear life. So there's Alana. She's awesome. She's kind of the new one of our team. She just came swinging in and can do a lot of stuff, man. She's pretty awesome. She's kind of likes being at the line, in front of the line, letting people in and out and talking to people. You find these people, man, and they just seem to click in a spot. It's like, man, boom, that's sweet. And so we just try to make it as fun as we can to keep people there, man, keep them coming back. So.
And that's growing your haunt. You find some of those people that, they start off in one thing, doing one thing, and you find that they're good at it. And, by the second or third year, they're ready to be controlling a group of people or being the artists and stuff and showing other people how to corpse the bones, that skeletons you got there and stuff. So
right.
It's great to see people grow like that. And some people just love to be the acting and don't want to do other stuff, but some are good at that too. So
yeah, that's a really good point to say, look, we try to pull people into these workshops. It's like, man, learn something about haunting. You don't just have to come here and, you can and act. You can do more stuff. There's always something going on. If you want to learn, we will teach you. And there's the whole side of it, of connecting things. We doing the pneumatics and the lighting and the sound and all this, the special effects stuff, man. It's like, I'm still kind of looking for somebody to kind of pass some of that knowledge on to, just say, look, this, all these controllers, it's a lot of fun, man. Sometimes it's kind of ends up being last minute because, you're like, oh crap, I got to get all this done. But, it's really cool. Like that aspect of it is a lot of fun as well for me. So there's like, and if anybody wants to learn, man, I'll show them how to do it. It's because it's a blast.
And like Daryl was saying, you never know who has a talent that you don't really know that they have, and they're not, whether they're not clicking it together or they don't want to say anything about it. I know some haunts are starting to do applications where they put that in the application. Your hobbies, what kind of the talents do you possess that would relate to a haunted attraction? So yeah, utilize your employees and your volunteers as much as you can, because you might be able to get 3 different skills out of one person.
That's right. Yeah.
Because we had I think I mentioned on the last podcast, we had a fire juggler that came with his girlfriend that was an actor. So we got a fire juggler out of it. We got a tarot card reader, and she was acting, and she really wasn't jiving well. And she said, "Hey, I have this tarot card thing that I do." I'm like, "Oh, really?" So we set her up her own booth, and she was
nice.
She was a favorite, for years. Yeah, just ask your people.
Dude, a tarot card reader. That's a great idea.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
it was.
And you can theme them. The one last our last interview, their tarot card reader is a bird. She's got a bird mask and she plays this bird lady who reads the tarot. And you could do something like that with your Feldgeister. You could have, some warning about what they might find. And you could use that as a line entertainment or as a, you know, pay another buck or two to get your tarot read.
Or that could be a whole haunt. Like you walk up on a giant tarot card of whatever it is, it's a 4x8 tarot card, and then that scene is based on that card.
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
They-
wow.
They make the car where it's not where it revolves, so they got to walk through it and spin it, and then they go through the
yeah,
hump. It's like the entry.
yeah,
Just an old axle spins. Sit
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Basically a
Yeah.
revolving door.
Yeah, revolving door. We tried that one year and it worked for a couple. When we were out in the, I used to do backwoods terror. That's how we started. My brother's property back on his 3 acres. Well, yeah, we tried that one year. It was in the woods, and we had some kind of pivot thing, and we had three screen doors, heavy wood doors with chicken wire bases to it that would spin, and then we had 2 different mazes that shot out. So we would have an actor putting the crowd in this revolving door, and then we had to make sure that they shot out. One shot out one shot out the other way. They were separated for about a minute and a half. They got to see each other halfway through the maze that we designed, and then they would eventually meet up at the end. Sometimes they would meet up if they were smart enough, but sometimes they got separated. They didn't like being separated.
They do not like being separated.
No,
We
they
like
don't.
them being separated. It's hilarious.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's fun to watch.
Absolutely.
But so I'm trying to get you off here at 9 o'clock. It's we got another 10 minutes. So if you guys have any questions out there in Facebook land, also if you have any more questions you want to ask Chip before we sign off. So what are your tips on growing? Let's say first of all, what are your tips on starting for someone just new to this or trying to get it started? Give us some ideas how they can start.
If you've gone the yard haunter route, or you've worked at some haunts already, or you just said, hey man, I want to, I'm not sure where everybody, is at. If I'm assuming somebody that likes Halloween a whole lot. Obviously you've got to find a spot, where am I going to have this haunt at? That's kind of the biggie. And choose that very, very wisely, because it's going to affect you for a good while. And so if you can't nail down that spot for X number of years, you could lose it. So, or you may not be able to develop it the way you want to develop going forward. So it may not be the best area to attract people to that spot. Now, sometimes that doesn't matter. It just depends on the area, but you want to do your best to make sure people are going to be able to come. It's reasonable for people to come there in some numbers that'll support you, what you're doing. And so there's a lot of options. Like there's I've heard people going to ballparks, man, and having haunts there. Really good idea. The season's over. Just it depends on how much, think about. Do I want to build this thing and leave it up all year long, or am I going to have to build it and tear it down? Who's going to be on my team? How am I going to get all this done? When am I going to get started? Where I'm going to store all this stuff? You got to think about that. We have a 30 by 60 barn at our house. It's full of stuff. It's Halloween stuff. So you gotta, that's something to think about. So there's there's a lot to it. There's a lot to think about, man. But obviously that spot where you want to end up at is important. If you can afford to, or you want to say, hey, I'm going to buy a place where it's mine and I can do what I want to, and the neighbors aren't going to get pissed off at me. That's the best, that would be the best. So Austin, I don't know if you say you live, I don't know if you live on a farm, it's your farm or what. So that's awesome, man. Yeah.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Yes, sir. We've had it in the family, and it is in a good location. It's in Johnson City, and it's starting to grow. And we're next to a bunch of schools. We're right in the middle of two high schools and a college and a few middle schools, and it's right off the interstate too. So I'm lucky on that part.
Well, man,
we
you've
go.
you've hit the trifecta there. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, it is if you want to keep growing, you know, it's a matter of what are the people in your area used to as far as a haunt goes. I mean, you could build like a frickin', movie quality scenes and everything. You may not have to, you know what I mean? You want people to come to your haunt and enjoy it, and have a good time. It just depends what people are used to in your area. I think Richmond has grown a whole lot in that, like the haunts are kind of gone up in quality. Everybody's had to kind of come up, a notch, and that's more everything, more stuff to look at, more stuff going off. But it could, if you can still have a sweet haunt that's actor driven, man. I think, just got to figure out how to advertise it, get people there, man.
And how did you get in touch with those drama clubs and all that stuff? Did you go straight? Did you call the school? Did you go down to the school and talk straight to the teachers, or did you know them already?
If you go to a high school website, they usually have all the email listed out for the teachers. And I'll pick a couple that look like, if it says they're in theater, the arts, I'll hit a couple of them up. Usually get a good response. They usually respond to you. They're interested, not interested. It's harder getting theater kids into work for a October all season, because a lot of them have a show coming up. If they're really into theater, they've got a show that comes up for the fall usually. So they're doing something. But chorus kids are great,
They
man.
often have friends. Chorus kids as well are really good too.
They don't start really getting serious till January for their big chorus competition. So they're usually great kids, man. So we've had a lot of success with them.
And Austin, you say you were going to a fair, right?
Yes, sir. I'm gonna be going to the Appalachian Fair, and we're gonna set up a booth and hand out brochures and stuff.
There you go. That's a good way to do it too.
One of
maybe
the
have-
things is, oh, go ahead, Brian. Sorry.
Maybe have like an actor or two in costume, or kind of decorated up spooky, theme it like you're trying to attract some eyeballs, some attention to that type of person. That type of person is going to be attracted. You're going to repel some people, but you're also going to attract the people that you're looking for.
So
And-
could that be me? Could I dress up if I needed to? Because I don't have many people. I don't think really that would probably be available through the week, especially. But like, if I had to, could I do that and still talk to
You
people?
also need someone. It's best to have one person in costume and one person not in costume, because sometimes they don't like talking to a scary character. But once they see that scary character and a normal person talks to them, they are really interested, right? Something else that I've seen people do is take some business cards. You can just go to Vistaprint or whatever and get some business cards, and put your auditions on, and just leave it blank so you can use the cards again next year. And if your auditions are September 3rd, put that on there. It might be too late to do it for this year. I'm not sure what you need, but say, hey, here's our auditions for actors. Give them a business card with your logo and the date that you're handwrite an audition on. And that will prompt them. It's like, oh, they're real. They're holding auditions to act, right?
Yeah, heck, thank you so much. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, on the one side, put like your hot logo and your information, and then on the reverse side, put your schedule, like Daryl said, auditions on this date. And that way they have your contact information, and it's cheaper than brochures too, because you can get a business card made for a nickel or cheaper.
Yeah, you go to your Kinko's or Vistaprint or any of those other things, and pick up a couple hundred business cards with your logo on it. And then that's also your introduction to your sponsors. Look, they've got a business card. They're legit, right? So if you can go to find somebody, you can leave that with the schools when you meet with the drama teacher, the choir teacher, the music teacher. The music kids are nerds and they will eat this stuff up.
And they might know how to work with sound effects and music. And who knows? But yeah, and so just don't be tempted as in costume. Try not to scare people that are walking by because we had that issue in parades because that's another way to get your attention is we were the only scary crew in the parade. I mean, we were all decked out. We had blood on us. We made a statement. But I had some actors that were kind of running out. We had some sliders that were kind of scare people. So we got some kind of negative feedback about that. But more or less, we did end up getting people from that parade to be interested in our haunt too. You'll
So
figure
you
it out.
just want the eyeballs of the costume. I wish, or whoever's in costume shouldn't actually be trying to scare people. You just want the eyeballs to get
You
the
want
people.
you want the eyeballs. You kind of want to stay in character. You know, like Daryl said, have another person that kind of, hey, this is who we are. This is what we were doing. You can kind of still in character, kind of, kind of be creepy. You can break character if you want, as if someone's really interested in that. Oh yeah, my name's Austin. I'm the owner. Yada yada yada. You could look like me too. Come on out. Let's 'cause some people don't know some people have no idea what it's going to entail to be the haunted house.
And acting in a haunt is significantly different than the theater kids acting on stage, or different than film or TV or anything else. It's unique,
That's a lot of work. Sometimes
but a
all kinds of
lot
crazy
of
weather.
fun too.
A lot of fun.
When you are an actor and you get somebody to give you a blood-curdling scream, man, that's addictive. Oh, it is so good. It's like, yes, they screamed for crap that I did.
Especially when it's like a 6'5" dude, 300 pounds, or somebody that bullied you in high school. That's always fun too.
We had a 7 foot tall guy come to the haunt last year, and he was just like, "Yeah, nobody even bothers trying to scare me at these things, man." We're like, "Okay, okay." We had I think one of our smallest actresses just scared the crap out of him. She just came in low on him, and it was hilarious. Yeah,
Some of the tiniest girls will scare the biggest dudes. It's fun. It's
yeah.
great.
We've even had deaf customers come through, and there's enough knowledge from our team now that they know how to scare both physically and audio. And one of the best ones was just a guy holding a book, and he could tell that the customer was deaf just by the way they were acting. And he kind of motioned the customer to look at the book, and looked at the book, and he looked at the book, and he snapped the book in front of him. And this deaf person actually applauded and signed and said, "Thank you." Right.
That's awesome.
Just because he was aware enough to do something with how to scare somebody that normally doesn't get scared.
Awesome. So, Chip, tell us again where we can find you, where they can come visit your haunt.
Oh, let's see. We are in Powhatan, Virginia. So it's close to Richmond, Virginia. And not far off of 64 or Route 288 if you're in that area. And just come on out to Powhatan County. Can't miss the fairgrounds. So
And that is totalterrorhaunt.com, or just Google you.
yes, sir. Yep.
Okay.
Think
Well,
we're
Chip,
yep.
go ahead. Any last
Just
words?
say, FB Total Terror Haunt, Instagram Total Terror Haunted Attraction, I think, and TikTok Total Terror Haunt.
Right. Hey, Daryl, stay on for a minute. I want to chat for you for few minutes if you guys.
Sure, no problem. Chip, want to thank you for showing up and lending your expertise to all of our listeners this evening and all of the ones that will be listening to this in the future. Austin, thank you for showing up, and glad you had a couple of questions, and I hope Chip was able to answer some of them for you and you get some ideas. And we want to see you back at some time in the future dictating or denoting how you've grown and how your haunt has developed over the years. So we want you to be a success.
Thank you so much.
Guys, thank y'all so much for having me.
Welcome, Chip. Thanks for talking and sharing your wisdom.
All righty. Y'all
Y'all
take
have-
care.
Have a good evening.
Take care, folks.
Chat.
Thank y'all. See ya.
Bye.
See you later.
This podcast episode sponsored by Scarett Badges. Get your Scarett Badges at scarebadges.com. Also sponsored by Hunter's Toolbox. Take your haunt to the next level at hunterstoolbox.com. Thank you for listening to Haunt Topic Radio. Please leave a comment wherever you found this podcast. Each comment you leave will help spread the word to other haunters around the world. See you next time.